It was 2 weeks before her wedding, and Anne Sullivan couldn't be happier. From a tight-knit family herself, her dream of starting her own clan was coming true. Then, an unexpected discovery.
I felt a little pea-sized lump. Didn't think anything of it because I was feeling fine, but I said, well, let me go to the doctors and have it checked out.
That lump grew, and tests would show that 32-year-old Anne, a nurse and a bride-to-be, had Hodgkin's lymphoma.
That particular night, I was actually going for my final fitting for my wedding dress. So it came as quite a shock to me.
The wedding would go on as planned, only a few guests knowing about the diagnosis. But the honeymoon would have to wait. Anne would immediately begin chemotherapy and a targeted radiation designed to hit the cancer while sparing healthy tissue around it.
One of the things we know about Hodgkin's lymphoma is that it traditionally starts in one group of lymph nodes, and the lymph nodes start in a chain that are a chain of beads. Often some people describe them like rosary beads. They go to the center of the body, out the arms, down the center of the body, and down the legs, and it often progresses in a very orderly fashion. It tends to not be explosively growing, but relentlessly growing, and if left untreated, Hodgkin's disease, or Hodgkin's lymphoma as it's now referred to, is a lethal illness. But it is also very responsive to certain chemotherapies or to radiation.
1 year later, Anne was doing better, well enough to reschedule that honeymoon. But just beforehand, she woke up with a pain on her left side.
The doctor in the emergency room came in and told me that my cancer was back, that my pain was caused by a tumor that was growing and fractured my rib and was growing through my rib. Completely threw me off my rocker this time.
Anne would need an autologous bone marrow transplant. Doctors would take healthy stem cells from her body, freeze them, then blast her with very high doses of chemotherapy to kill the remaining cancer. Then they would reinfuse the healthy stem cells. She was able to finally take her honeymoon before she started chemo again, knowing that her cancer had returned.
50% chance of cure. Unfortunately, in Anne's situation, the coin came up on the wrong side again.
It wasn't long before, yet again, Anne was facing bad news. In February of 2008, she rolled over in bed and felt pain in her rib cage. Anne knew what Dr. Joyce confirmed.
She said, your cancer is back. It's stage 4. It's very serious. You need to have a bone marrow transplant, an allogenic bone marrow transplant, meaning coming from a donor. And Dr. Joyce actually leaned over and gave me this hug. And she just said to me, it sucks. She said, this really sucks, but we need to get moving on this now. And she said, if we don't find a donor, you probably have less than 6 months to live.
Her only sister was not a match, so she would need a transplant from a donor from somewhere else. On her birthday, April 18th, one would appear, a perfect match in England.
There's something about every patient that I take care of that I, sort of take with me and keep with me. Anne is a very special part. She's one of those special people that really, she's quite amazing.
But her cancer cure may not be the most amazing part of Anne's story. After all that chemo and radiation and 2 bone marrow transplants, Anne and her husband Jay got the okay to explore their options of starting to have a family.
With the help of our wonderful, amazing physicians, we were able to get pregnant and have a baby. And I had my daughter, Elizabeth Day, April 11th, 2012. Greatest day of my life. She is my pride and joy, my greatest achievement. Before her, my greatest achievement was surviving cancer, but she's my biggest achievement.
That's Libby! How beautiful!
She's 10.5 months, and she is so funny. She definitely has a personality of her own. She's very strong-willed. My mother jokes and says, oh, payback, you're getting what you were. She loves to play and laugh, and she makes the funniest faces. She is a miracle baby. She is, and I say every day when someone asks me or talks about her that she's destined for great things. There's a reason I had her, other than for my own joy, but she's here to do something, and she's going to make a difference in this world, whether it's to one person or to an entire world. She's definitely going to make a difference.